territory by force. Russia could end this war tomorrow by withdrawing its forces from Ukraine.
Just ahead, the fun is kicking off in 2 area communities where county fairs are opening up today. Plus, a new Minnesota law goes into effect on August 1st. It will legalize some drug paraphernalia. And parts of the viewing area are getting some much-needed rain today. Your news at noon starts now.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good afternoon, I'm Jess Abrahamson. First today at noon, a statewide ban is now just a signature away as Iowa Republicans aim to sharply limit abortions. NBC's Shaquille Brewster has more.
This morning, Iowa on the verge of enacting a new restrictive ban on abortion.
Back away from it!
Despite hours of intense protests and strong debate,
The bill is declared to have passed the Senate and the title was agreed to.
Iowa lawmakers overnight passing legislation blocking the procedure after the detection of cardiac activity, banning abortion at roughly 6 weeks before most women know they're pregnant.
If they're not prepared to have a baby, they shouldn't have sex.
Iowa Republicans passed a nearly identical version in 2018 that was quickly blocked by the courts. But that law came before the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and Republicans hope a more conservative state Supreme Court will let this stand. What kind of impact would this have on the abortion care you provide?
It would have a huge impact. This would affect almost all the patients that we see.
The bill includes exemptions to protect the life of the mother and for rape and incest if reported to law enforcement, public health authorities, or a doctor.
If this bill becomes law, women will die in Iowa. Common sense has walked out the door.
Iowa's governor promising to sign the bill into law on Friday. Iowa would become the 16th state restricting abortion access to 6 weeks or less. 14 of those states currently ban the procedure with few exceptions.
And as soon as that child is conceived, it is a child, it's a life, and it matters.
A March poll showed most Iowans say abortion should be legal in all or most cases, including 70% of women. But this morning, the limited providers across the state are scrambling, saying they're unsure of what happens next.
I want to continue practicing medicine, and I think the language is so vague that I need to know when I can intervene to save a woman's life.
Some sad news out of Goodhue County. An accident involving an SUV and a tractor has taken a life. According to the Goodhue County Sheriff's Office, 33-year-old Brenna Amos of Stewartville was driving on County Road 1 near 210th Avenue about 10:45 Wednesday morning when she rear-ended a manure spreader being pulled by a tractor. Amos died on the scene. The driver of the tractor, a 65-year-old Goodhue man, was not hurt. The Minnesota State Patrol is reconstructing this accident. Rochester police say another man overdosed last night. The 34-year-old man from Chanhassen was staying at a residence on 6th Avenue Southeast. He was found on the floor by other tenants. He was unconscious but breathing. A responding officer administered Narcan. The man began to regain consciousness and was taken to the hospital. Police say it appears the man may have overdosed on heroin. Safe City Nights in Rochester are all about keeping families safe. This is some video of the gathering at Jefferson Elementary last night, with 3 more gatherings planned for this summer. These are community building events to strengthen the bonds between community members and our law enforcement officers.
Building a relationship with the community and just getting out, like I said, and meeting people, but it's the connection between public safety in the community and how all of us can work together to create a safer community for all.
And you can find the dates for the 3 remaining Safe City Nights this summer right there on your screen. The next one is coming up on Tuesday, July 25th at Bishop Elementary. Well, here is a welcome sight for Rochester. The downtown area got a downpour of rain early this morning. We had a crew in that area when the skies opened and gave a healthy dose of rain to our area. But Ted says this gift from Mother Nature might be hit or miss. it does continue in Rochester right now. So let's get the latest with meteorologist Ted Schmidt joining us from out on our weather patio using his umbrella, which looks good, Ted.
Hasn't happened very often this year, that's right. It is very lightly raining, Jess. We are very much at the final stages of this band of rain, the final batch of activity moving through. Once this does, we may see some redevelopment during the evening time frame. In between, I do think we'll see some breaks of sunshine, so we do have that ahead of us as well. But right now, 0.4 of an inch of rain here at the studio, quite a bit compared to what we've had most of the season. That's our Louis Donato camera from Signal Hill, Northwest Rochester. At the airport, very similar amount, 39/100 of an inch. Northeast Rochester, 1/3 of an inch. Albert Lee, more than 1.5 inches, 1.51 inches. And parts of North Iowa had more than 2 to 3 inches between Mason City and Albert Lee, parts of Worth County and also around Winnebago County. But see that on the map, some impressive amounts. Worthington, 0.7 of an inch. There was rain on to the east. Behind it, there is some partial clearing. Look for maybe a few gaps developing in the clouds in the next 2 or 3 hours, and it'll help us reach the 70s. Right now, it's 61 at the studio. Very light northeast wind, dew point 59. Air pressure is still falling momentarily as low pressure moves through the area. It's generating these showers. 60 at the airport now in Rochester. It's 66 with light rain in La Crosse and 64 in Mason City. Allergy reports, moderate for ragweed, trees, grasses, and low for dust and mold. The UV index still high. Once that sun comes out, they'll be climbing steadily. Certainly not an issue now, though. Look for some more rain off and on perhaps this evening. Almanac has a high of 81 on the climate average. Today will settle for something almost 10 degrees cooler, 72. A couple of isolated showers in the early evening. Still possible. And the next couple of days offer small chances of rain, but some increasingly warmer sunshine as we approach the weekend. We'll have the full details in a few minutes.
That's something we're looking forward to. Thank you, Ted.
You bet.
Rochester Mayor Kim Norton has vetoed a resolution to hold a special election seeking to extend the city's half-cent sales tax. The plan would invest $205 million on projects to improve streets, flood control, water quality, and economic vitality, in addition to creating a new regional sports and recreation complex. While the council approved the plan at Monday's city council meeting, Mayor Norton vetoed it less than 24 hours later. She says her main concerns are the grouping together of the 4 projects into one question. She believes residents should get the choice to vote for which projects they'd like that sales tax to go toward. The council will have the opportunity to consider overriding Norton's veto during its regular meeting next month. A Southeast Minnesota company is being given a historic amount of money to improve internet speeds to rural areas. Earlier this week, Governor Tim Walz announced the 2023 Border-to-Border Broadband Development Grant recipients, and among them, KM Telecom out of Casson. The company's been awarded almost $2 million to improve internet speeds in rural communities surrounding Byron. While many homes already have the internet, fiber is much more efficient.
Fiber is basically unlimited capacity. Whatever app, whatever future services come down the road, fiber can provide that to a customer. Working from home now is huge, obviously, as we all know. And this will allow those consumers to still stay at home and keep their jobs.
The project is set to start next year and will impact Olmsted County's Kalmar and Salem townships. Happening today, the first day of the Dodge County Free Fair. A lot of fun will be taking over the fairgrounds in Casson with rides, grandstand shows like a bull riding challenge, and all that great fair food. You can also check out farm animals brought in by local 4-H and FFA competitors. Daily parking is $5 per car. This runs through Sunday. One note, there is some construction on Highway 57 in Casson, so you're going to need to plan accordingly when driving to the fair this year. The fun at the fairgrounds actually kicked off last night. An extra special event, the Llama Show, returning for the first time in 19 years. And this is possible thanks to efforts made by exhibitors of the event, including a dedicated girl who fought to bring this to town.
If they don't do good, you're always just happy if they don't do good because you just feel good that you got to go out and show what you know.
And Raylyn has been showing llamas for 1.5 years now. And there's more fair fun to talk about today. The Winona County Fair is going to be in full swing in St. Charles. So the carnival opens at 5 p.m. There is going to be square dancing at 7 and events happening throughout the day. This is really fun. In addition to the Kids Farm, petting zoo, and all of those great things, our Cami Raisler is going to be in St. Charles with Midwest Access. So tune in or see her out there yourself. She's going to be there 4 o'clock broadcasting live. It's sure to be a good time. A new law goes into effect in Minnesota that will make possession of drug paraphernalia legal. The intent is to save lives. We're going to delve into what this is all about coming up next.
A stair lift gives you or a family member the ability to save.
It's an unconventional method to stop drug use, but a former drug user says the harm reduction method works. And it allows users to adjust use instead of stopping cold turkey. The state of Minnesota agrees with this. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield has the story.
Edward's life has been full of highs.
I was Teacher of the Year in the state of Maryland, High School History Teacher of the Year.
The good kind of high and the hard kind, too.
My drug of choice is methamphetamine.
Edward was raised in a loving family, but he was keeping a secret, and it almost destroyed him.
And I was a gay man, and I was in the closet. It was like my soul was being ripped out beneath me and living a lie.
Meth eventually took everything. Like many, he traveled to Minnesota on his long road to recovery.
I walked the streets of Minneapolis for about 6 years in the cold, without shirts, right outside WCCO's building, hoping one day I'd get better. But this was addiction.
He says it was a counselor who saved his life and changed his perspective. And instead of stopping meth cold, he tried adjusting his use.
One of my biggest wins in my substance use journey was changing from ejection to smoking. And when I went that direction, I was right around the corner from finding my long-term recovery.
It's a different approach to recovery called harm reduction. It's practiced here at this Minneapolis clinic. The goal is for patients to get clean needles and supplies, to establish relationships, to stop the spread of disease, and to ideally recover.
We meet them where they're at because it also helps the communities stay safer while helping the individual stay safer.
The CDC says people who come and get clean needles are 5 times more likely to seek treatment. It's a fact he presented to Minnesota legislators who recently, in an unprecedented move, made all drug paraphernalia legal.
We are a leader now in the nation in harm reduction.
But it begs a question he is often asked.
Is you're enabling drug use. Actually, what we're doing is lowering substance use, we're lowering crime, and we're keeping people safe.
Edward is now safe and thriving. With 3 jobs and a national platform, he's on a quest to reach new heights.
This law making all paraphernalia legal goes into effect August 1st. As of that date, a handful of Minnesota clinics will be offering clean supplies. Here's Ted with more on our chances for rain as Rochester's getting some right now.
Light rain going on now. We may see a little more later today, and there'll be a couple more chances before we reach the weekend. The latest near 7-day forecast is coming up after our Wednesday market report.
Miss part of our newscast?
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
This summer rain is a beautiful thing, and parts of the viewing area are getting some right now.
We're getting light rain right now here in Rochester. It's been going on for actually 3 or 4 hours now, and we've been getting a healthy dose of it. Not heavy rain, but just that moderate, steady rain that's soaking in, and that's a good thing. It's the kind of the situation we've been hoping for weeks now. Right now, we're looking at showers here. We had some sun to start the day. Here's a picture from what was a beautiful sunrise, and what's more beautiful than the sunrise this morning is actually the rain we're getting now. But this is a picture from Rochester. Karen Shesky was taking her dog for a walk and saw that beautiful, magnificent sunshine. sunshine. Took a picture of that, and hopefully we'll all get a chance to behold the beauty of the rain. We've been waiting for quite some time for this kind of scenario, but light rain continues to fall. Droplets in the camera lens at Lake City. Here in Rochester, a couple sprinkles falling the weather patio as well. Wet pavement outside at the officially at the City of Rochester Airport, RST. 39/100ths of an inch of rain so far. A little more than an inch and a half in Albert Lea. 1.51 there. Charles City has had a couple of downpours. 1.31 there. Mason City, 88/100ths of an inch. Radar estimates between reporting sites. You see some spots in North Iowa had 2 to 4 inches of rain in the early morning hours today. That activity has really weakened and moved on to the east, but you see some very impressive amounts of rain falling across the area. Some spots that really need the rain. We're all, at the very least, in moderate drought. Rochester itself in a severe drought, and this is going to help. It's not going to alleviate the drought situation, but this is a step in that direction. Showers moving out of the east. We're looking for some clearing from the west. We'll at least enjoy some sun at times today later on. 60 right now in Rochester, where it is sunny. It's warmer. 72 in Sioux Falls, 75 in Omaha. Minneapolis, 68 right now. Light rain falling. It's 60 in the Med City, 63 in Austin, 64 in Charles City. Looking at rain for another half hour, 45 minutes. Very light rain, though. Dew point 59. East wind at 10 miles per hour. Look for light showers, then a break. Maybe some isolated showers redeveloping this evening, and they'll have sparse opportunities for rain late tomorrow and parts of Friday. The weekend looking bright and pleasant with some warm sunshine and more 80s. Today we'll settle for 70s once again because of the clouds and showers in place, but the showers give way to some sun. Evening does feature a chance of isolated showers, perhaps just of instability for a rumble of thunder or two before midnight. Tomorrow, plenty of warm sunshine for your Thursday. It does look like we'll have a couple of little showers bubbling up in the afternoon or evening time frame. Very hit or miss, sparse, isolated storm chances. And then on Friday, we look for showers early in the day, giving way to some increasing warm sunshine, low 80s in the afternoon. Going into today, a deficit of 1.5 inches for the month, and for the season overall, going back to the beginning of June, 5.5 inches. Looking for isolated showers developing between 6 and 11 o'clock this evening, and sparse chances tomorrow evening and parts of Friday. Otherwise, it looks like we'll have to wait a while before we see additional rain chances beyond today's light showers. Isolated showers, clouds, and some sunshine. Mostly cloudy with breaks of sunshine headed our way. 72 in Rochester, 74 in Albert Lea. Temperatures close to the seasonal average after today. We'll look for some more 80s, at least low 80s in the coming days, which is typical for this time of the year. Breaks of sun, isolated showers ending, a light northeast breeze. 72 tonight, 59, light northwest wind. Spotty showers redeveloping in the evening, then partly cloudy overnight, and a fair amount of sunshine tomorrow. Chance of maybe a stray shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. 81, a light west breeze around 10 miles per hour, and a couple of storms Friday. The weekend looking bright, and we have to wait a while before we see rain. That may happen in the middle of next week.
Today we'll just enjoy the rain.
Nice to see that, yes, definitely.
It sure is. Thank you. Showing of support for Ukraine at the G7 NATO summit. We're going to break down big developments as President Biden meets with Ukrainian President Zelensky today. We'll be right back.
Join us for Midwest Access, weekdays at 4 p.m.
A pathway to NATO membership, that is on the agenda for President Biden's meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky today. It's the first meeting since NATO announced it will extend an invitation to Ukraine once it meets certain requirements. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Capitol Hill.
Hi there. Presidents Biden and Zelensky have had a really warm relationship, but right now this question of when and under what conditions Ukraine could enter NATO really testing that relationship. Day 2 of the NATO summit in Lithuania, bringing a declaration of support for Ukraine.
We're going to help Ukraine build a strong, capable defense across land, air, and sea.
Key allies laying out ground rules for Ukraine eventually joining NATO, a central topic during today's meeting between Presidents Biden and Zelensky as the Ukrainian leader presses for a concrete timeline.
Today there are security guarantees for Ukraine on the way to NATO, an important package of security guarantees.
NATO allies wary of admitting Ukraine while it's at war with Russia to avoid escalating the conflict, though offering hope for the future.
To create a path to NATO membership while Ukraine continues to make progress on necessary reforms.
There is division over a controversial U.S. decision to provide Ukraine with cluster bombs, banned in more than 2/3 of NATO countries because of a history of increased civilian casualties. The U.S. calling it a temporary stopgap while allies restock other rapidly depleting munitions.
If we didn't do it, we don't do it, then they will run out of ammunition. If they run out of ammunition, they will be defenseless.
A delicate balance to defend Ukraine without yet offering the full protection and pitfalls of NATO membership. Allies at the summit are promising to step up their support for Ukraine in its fight against Russia. President Biden delivering a speech today focused on that commitment. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And here's a look at what's up next in the kitchen.
All aboard! Grab your train ticket because we're serving up a melt-in-your-mouth steak that's dining car fancy.
The summer temps.
If you've ever had the opportunity to have dinner in the dining car of a train, then you'll probably have some pretty fun memories of it. Now, I'm not talking about grabbing a hot dog and a bag of chips at the concession stand, but rather sitting down to a complete meal in the dining car. The recipe we're making today is inspired by just that. Plus, it's perfect for this time of year when you want to serve something special. The first thing we're going to do is mix some softened butter with some minced garlic, a squeeze of lemon juice, and chopped parsley. Then we spoon that down the center of a piece of wax paper and roll it up, creating a log. While the butter chills in the fridge, we'll cook up a couple of strip or ribeye steaks that we've seasoned. When the chilled seasoned butter hits the hot steak and begins to melt, get ready to take a bite of the most flavorful steak you've ever tasted. To get the recipe for our melt-in-your-mouth steak, all you have to do is visit our website and look for what we call dining car steak. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a dining car fancy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, there you go. That's an idea, because it might be a little wet right now in parts of the viewing area to get out the grill. Ted's using his umbrella on the weather patio.
Jess, it's barely raining right now.
Okay.
It's just sprinkling. We are probably 4 or 5 minutes away from the end of the rain. It's just about done here. In fact, I look to the west, even southwest. There are big holes developing in the clouds. Already some patches of blue showing up here. So we're just about done with the rain. We're going to have a stretch of really comfortable weather this afternoon. We'll have a little bit of a warm up with that sun. We're in the low 60s right now, but the sun will help us, I think, reach the 70s at least. And then maybe by evening, we may see a couple of isolated showers redevelop. But right now, the rain kind of winding down for most of us. Here's the view from CC Heights, live from our Lewis Donato camera. Wet pavement also in downtown Rochester, looking southward. Right now, so far at the airport in Rochester, 39 hundredths of an inch of rain, inch and a half in Albert Lea, Mesa City, almost an inch, 88 hundredths there. And more than an inch in Decorah. We see a lot of rain in Iowa. Charles City, 1.31. Showers very light moving out of the east. We see that big batch of clearing, the back edge of the clouds now moving through Owatonna and Austin. Another couple of hours, we'll be in full sunshine, and that'll help us reach the 70s. And there's maybe a chance of maybe a brief shower after about 5 or 6 this evening coming in from the northwest, but very hit or miss, sparse activity. 61 right now, sprinkles in the weather patio. The wind, kind of a cool breeze from the east, 11 miles per hour, dew point 59. And we have temperatures right around 60 in most spots. Where it's sunnier and drier, it's a little warmer. Owatonna 64, 64 in Mesa City. Meanwhile, it's 60 in Rochester and 61 in Dodge Center. Weather Almanac, the typical highest time of the year is 81. We may get there tomorrow, not today though. Sunset 8:52. We've had about 4/10 of an inch of rain. May add just a little more to the rain gauge today. 72, some sun, then maybe perhaps a brief evening shower or two. We'll have something similar tomorrow and Friday. Very sparse activity. Ted's Trivia in 2016 election, what was the total number of faithless electors who cast ballots out of the 1,076 electoral votes for president and vice president combined? So you get 538 for president. They also have 538 for the vice president. Add those together. There were some people who didn't vote for the guy they said, or the person they said they would be voting for. And it might be surprising. We'll have that answer in just a few minutes, Jess.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Just ahead, we are getting a pulse on where U.S. ag imports are at. And in anticipation of National Ice Cream Day, a look at the most popular flavors by state. We'll be right back. Today, the FBI director is testifying before the House Judiciary Committee. Zach Fuller is going to have much more on this for our online newscast at 1 o'clock and joins us with a preview of what he's working on. Hi, Zach.
Hi, Jesse. Christopher Wray, the FBI director, is on Capitol Hill today to answer questions mainly about the FBI's handlings of different investigations when it comes to Hunter Biden's business dealings and into Hunter Biden in general as well. House Republicans say that the FBI has become politicized in all of this, so lawmakers will be asking questions about how the FBI has handled this investigation as a whole. We'll be having that on KTTC's Facebook page and live stream coming up here at 1 o'clock on KTTC News Now.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much, Zach, and we'll see you online shortly. We are getting a glimpse into what U.S. ag imports looked like over the past several months. Here's our Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. There are a lot of negative numbers in the latest U.S. Agriculture Trade Report for the first 8 months of the fiscal year. U.S. exports for October through May totaled just over $128.5 billion. Now that's 5% below the same time a year ago. USDA officials say that's due to a downturn in bulk products, which are down 8%. This Sunday, July 16th, is National Ice Cream Day, and one company that helps students find college scholarships is out with a list of the most popular ice cream flavors by state. Scholaroo says 23 states chose chocolate as their favorite flavor, including Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Cookie dough was another popular favorite, while 3 states, they love Neapolitan. It says Americans eat an average of 12 pounds of ice cream per year. California has the highest number of ice cream parlors with more than 4,200, making it the biggest ice cream consumer in the country. And how much do you love cheeseburgers? Well, Burger King in Thailand is taking the cheeseburger to a whole new level. You're looking at a burger with no meat, but instead as many as 20 slices of American cheese between 2 buns. What's being dubbed the real cheeseburger costs about $11 US. Apparently in Thailand, cheese is especially popular among young people, and it's common for it to be added to all kinds of dishes. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or anytime at agweb.com.
KTTC's 70th anniversary.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
Pretty glorious sight right now. Gray skies, murky, dreary weather. It's wonderful. We're getting some much needed rain. We've been waiting a long time for this. We've only had a couple of doses of weather like this so far this season, and a steady light rain. This is just what we were hoping for. Some spots had heavy rain earlier today, but everybody now just on the light side of things as we look outside with our array of Lewiston Auto cameras across the area. Rochester so far almost 4/10 of an inch of rain since mid-morning when the rain started. 1.51 inches in Albert Lee. More than an inch in Charles City, 1.31 inches there. Decorah, 1.05 inches. They had a third of an inch in northeast Rochester. Showers edging their way eastward. In fact, it just came to an end. The rain just came to an end of the weather patio. Sprinkles across the Med City will give way to drier skies for an hour with gray skies, peaks of sunshine. Then a lot of clearing happening behind all this. So we're looking at additional sunshine. They'll help us warm up on our way to maybe the low 70s. Right now we're in the 60s in most spots with light rain going on. But yeah, a little healthy sunshine help the cause as we make our way to about room temperature weather later on. 63 right now in Rochester at the airport. Minneapolis 68, where it's sunnier, definitely warmer. 72 in Sioux Falls, 76 in Grand Island, Nebraska. On our way to about 72 here in Rochester. It's 63 at this hour. Austin 66, Osage 67, and 62 in Zumbrota. Look for the showers to end. Sprinkles still at the airport though. 63 right now. Winds from the north at 8 miles per hour. Dew point 61. That's still climbing. A fair amount of moisture in the atmosphere with the storm system. For sparse showers, a few of those this evening. Redeveloping showers with some sunshine between, and then sparse rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two tomorrow afternoon, parts of Friday, but very hit or miss activity with some warm sunshine. In fact, the warming trend really starts tomorrow because today we'll settle for 70s. Tomorrow we'll see mainly 80s, low 80s anyway, which is typical for July. Future track today, showers moving out of the east. They'll be out of the picture a couple hours. We'll be out of there by 2 or 3 o'clock out of our easternmost counties. This evening, we see a chance of maybe isolated showers, very sparse hit or miss activity between about 6 and midnight. Sunshine tomorrow morning. We do have another chance. A little energy from the northwest will trigger a couple of showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder late afternoon, evening. And the future track trying to kick off some showers in the evening time frame. And beyond that, maybe a few more showers early Friday. Today's rain chances winding down here shortly, and then we'll see just a few very sparse showers in the evening time frame and small doses of rain between now and Friday with some sun at times and a fair amount of warm sunshine in store for the the weekend. Temperatures over the next several days looking to be warmer after we have 70s today. Look for some above average temperatures for much of next week. So mild for a while, then a lot warmer down the road at the end of next week. Breaks of sunshine, showers ending, 72 light northeast winds. 59 tonight, spotty showers possible, maybe a rumble of thunder, not many of those though, partly cloudy. 81 tonight, tomorrow, that is, a chance of maybe a stray shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon or evening. And then the 7-day forecast, not many rain chances after Friday morning or early afternoon, maybe next Wednesday, next chance. Otherwise, a warm and pleasant weekend. Ted's Trivia 2016 election. What was the total number of faithless electors, those who cast a ballot against the person they actually had pledged to vote for? It's actually an interesting number.
I'm going to go with C11.
It's actually 13. 7 of those were for vice presidents. They just didn't decide they didn't like the person they were going to vote for. They went somewhere completely different. Didn't determine the outcome of the election, but the most we've ever had. It was interesting.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. As we're celebrating 70 years at KTTC, so much has changed during just my time here. A lot of that change has been technology. So we're going to take you back into our tech archives for a look at a few trends you may have forgotten. We'll be right back.
KTTC's 70th anniversary special Sunday.
As KTTC continues to celebrate its 70th anniversary all week, we have a special look back at something that's not only changed the television news industry, but also each of our daily lives. We're talking technology. Zach Fuller has this look back.
KTTC Television 10, Rochester.
As time goes on, things, people, and businesses evolve. KTTC is no different. Ask any reporter, photographer, or anchor who has worked here over 70 years, and the equipment and technology they've worked with is different across the generations. Back when KTTC, then KROC, started on air in 1953, things were much different back then. TVs were mainly still black and whites. While color TV was becoming more popular, it wasn't until 1966 that KTTC started broadcasting local programming in color. Stories and footage were shot in film back then, with photographers needing at least 35 minutes to develop the film. Then came along recording to tape, which was a little faster but still took time to edit the tapes together. In the TV world, this is known as analog.
The days with film and just processing the film, and you had to be done shooting your stories by about 4:30 in the afternoon in order to get the film processed, run it through, get it dry so that these guys could actually sit down and manually edit it for a 6 p.m. newscast.
It wasn't until the early 2010s that KTTC switched to a digital format for footage, now storing up to 64 gigabytes of sound and video in this little SD card, allowing a reporter to have a story uploaded to a server and ready to air in seconds.
So that's definitely made it easier, and it's allowed for breaking news to happen in real time.
But it's not just how footage is shot. Even the newscast itself has seen changes, with anchors reading paper scripts and having large TVs behind them for monitors, to the invention of the teleprompter, allowing the anchor to read words while looking at the camera. As the years went on, even the sets for newscast evolved. Remember this high-tech invention in 2011?
We have a lot of TVs, and they're not just televisions, they're high-definition flat screens. Over 40 of them were purchased for our HD upgrade.
Now with LED lights and large HD monitors, news graphics and the shows themselves have never been more advanced.
To stay in the game, the technology, you need to design a set that has technology in it instead of a stagnant set that didn't have technology in it.
While some things slowly evolve over time, eventually there will be a period of boom.
And every year they're coming out with new thought processes and new ways of doing things with the technology. So it's been quite the whirlwind, and it's a lot to keep up on.
And sure, while black and white to color was huge, analog to digital might have been even bigger, which included this.
KTTC went HD for the first time.
But that was the biggest difference that's happened in the last 20 years, without a doubt.
What came years after shutting off analog in favor of digital came high-definition television. KTTC's first HD broadcast was March 20th, 2011, a Sunday evening.
Live from KTTC, the area's most watched late news.
But it's not just news that has seen technology upgrades. How weather is forecasted has drastically changed. Weather was first drawn on chalkboards before moving to a magnet system.
Those clouds out west managed to move into our area, leaving us with a little more flurry activity today than we were expecting, but still didn't do much but put some slippery spots on our roads and bridges.
To now being forecasted with clear graphics from a green screen that can show many different slides. And putting on a newscast took many people. A producer, audio operator, and director were needed for decades, with people operating the cameras behind the scenes. Then the cameras became automated, including the ones here at KTTC, which are controlled with the click of a mouse. And something just started last month is automated shows. Now, with the click of a button, a newscast director can move from an on-camera shot to B-roll of a story and bring up news graphics.
KTTC Television 10, Rochester.
A human only had 2 hands and 10 fingers, and they couldn't reach everything at once. Now with the coding, we can do more advanced things.
Lastly, technology has impacted each and every one of our lives, with how we get our news to where we see the news. Before, you had to make sure you tune in at a certain time to catch the day's big stories, or make sure you recorded on VHS or DVD to go back and watch. Now, you don't need cable or an antenna to access the news. All you need is the KTTC app on a streaming device or smart TV, and with the invention of the computer and internet, on KTTC's website or social media pages, individual stories are right at your fingertips by simply touching a screen. Needless to say, technology has impacted our lives in the last 70 years, with it only growing better and faster by the day.
It's always changing. Another item of technology that's evolved includes being able to report live news just with a cell phone compared to needing a live truck with a microwave tower to send a signal in the past. So we'll share more unique stories as we celebrate 70 years of broadcasting tomorrow and then throughout the weekend. We'll be right back. A unique concert in the Florida Keys highlighted reef protection last Saturday. This is the 39th annual Lower Keys Underwater Music Festival at Lou Key Reef off Big Pine Key. Music broadcast by a local radio station was piped underwater via speakers beneath boats that were positioned above the reef. Several hundred divers and people who were snorkeling listened to the subsea soundtrack as they explored Lou Key's colorful fish, coral formations, and other marine life. This festival teaches people about eco-conscious diving practices and ways to protect the Keys reef ecosystem. That's pretty cool, Ted. A one-of-a-kind concert for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, you wouldn't think it would be such a great sound, but I suppose you could hear something. It's kind of cool.
What also sounds great? The sound of raindrops, and that's being heard all over
Hearing
today.
that at the weather patio out there was kind of fun to use the umbrella for a change. It's a very mild day, temperatures in the low 60s. We will see the sun break through the clouds in the next couple of hours. Showers ending here pretty shortly. In fact, already done in here in Rochester, but most spots will be seeing the rain wrap up by 2 or 2:30, and then we'll have increasing sun for a few hours. A slight chance of a shower in the evening. Look for a high of 72 with a little sunshine and a light breeze. 7-day forecast, there will be chances of maybe a stray shower or thunderstorm, perhaps late tomorrow or even in the early evening hours, and then a chance of maybe a brief shower or thunderstorm early Friday, maybe early Friday afternoon. Beyond that, it's going to be sunnier and warmer temperatures, mostly low 80s heading into next week, and then we wait after Friday until maybe next Wednesday for more rain. So I'm glad we're getting some now.
Absolutely. We hope you have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching.
There are too many options.
How do we decide what hotel to book? Fear